Ako nagpalaki sa'yo. 5 words. That's all it takes. Biglang bumalik yung lahat. The sleepless nights, the sacrifices, the money spent. And just like that, you feel it. Guilt. Heavy. Crushing. Suffocating. You're 25 years old. May sarili ka ng buhay. But those 5 words, they can still control you. Make you say yes when you want to say no. Make you give money kahit wala ka na. Make you feel like a bad person for wanting your own life. Did you know that 9 out of 10 Filipino adults struggle with guilt from their parents? But here's what nobody tells you. That guilt, it's not love, it's manipulation, and it's destroying your mental health. The psychology behind this, let me break it down for you. Starting now. Let me introduce you to Miguel, 32 years old, engineer, good job, lives in Manila. His dream, to move to Canada, better opportunities, better life. He saved for 3 years, got the visa, job offer ready. Then he told his mother. You know what she said? Iwanan mo na ako? After everything I did for you? Tears, silence. Then the final blow. Sige umalis ka, pero pag namatay ako, wag ka nang babalik. Miguel didn't go to Canada. He's still in Manila, still living near his mother. Still checking on her every day. His dream? Dead. His resentment? Growing. But he can't say anything. Kasi masama daw yan. Ungrateful daw. Familiar? Here's what's happening in Miguel's brain. When his mother said those words, his amygdala went into overdrive. That's the fear center ng brain niya. It triggered an ancient survival response. Abandonment fear. Kasi evolutionarily speaking, being rejected by your family meant death. No tribe, no protection, no survival. So even though Miguel is a grown man with his own money and own life, his primitive brain screamed, "Don't abandon the tribe, you'll die." That's not logic, that's biology. And Filipino parents, they know how to weaponize this. They've been doing it for generations. Utang na Loob. Sounds beautiful, diba? Debt of gratitude. But let's call it what it really is. Emotional hostage-taking. Because real gratitude, it's freely given. Utang na Loob, it comes with a price tag. And that price, your freedom. Here's the psychology. When a parent constantly reminds you of their sacrifices, they're activating something called reciprocity anxiety. Your brain feels the need to pay back, constantly. But here's the trap. The debt is never fully paid. Kasi pag nag-give ka na, they'll say, kulang pa yan. Pag nag-sacrifice ka na, they'll say, mas malaki ang sakripisyo ko. It's a rigged game. You can never win. And every time you try to set boundaries, they hit you with the ultimate weapon. Mahal ko kasi kayo. But is it really love, or is it control dressed up as love? Let's talk about Jennifer, 38 years old, accountant, single mom, raising 2 kids alone. Every month, she sends 20,000 pesos to her parents, on top of her own bills, on top of her kids' tuition. She's drowning in debt, but she can't stop sending money. Kasi pag huminto siya, tatawagan siya ng nanay niya. Nakalimutan mo na ba kung sino nag-aral sa'yo? Kami pa ba ang nagkasala at nabuhay ka? Wala na kaming pera, ikaw na lang ang pag-asa namin. Jennifer knows it's too much. She knows her own kids are suffering, but the guilt is stronger than logic. So she borrows money, piles up credit card debt, just to send home. And you know what's worse? Her siblings don't send anything. But do her parents call them ungrateful? No. They call Jennifer, the responsible one, the mabait na anak. Translation, the easy target. Here's the psychology behind this. It's called conditional love. Your parents' love isn't free. It comes with terms and conditions. Be obedient, send money, visit often, choose their approved career, marry who they like, follow the rules, you're loved. Break the rules, you're ungrateful. And here's the twisted part. This pattern started when you were a child. Remember when you got a good grade? Wow, ang galing mo, proud ako sa'yo. But when you got a bad grade, silence, disappointment, cold treatment. You learned early. Love is earned, love is conditional. So now as an adult, you're still chasing their approval, still trying to be good enough, still sacrificing yourself just to hear proud ako sa'yo. But that validation, it never lasts. Kasi the goalpost keeps moving. Graduate with honors, dapat may trabaho ka na. Get a job, dapat malaki na sweldo mo. Earn good money, bakit hindi ka pa nag-aasawa? Get married, kailan ba kami magkakapo? There's always a next demand, because the real goal isn't your happiness, it's their control. And the tool? Guilt. Guilt is the invisible leash that keeps you obedient, even when you're miles away, even when you're grown. One phone call, one naalala mo pa ba kami, and you're back under control. Now let's talk about the brain science behind why this works so well. When your parent guilt trips you, several things happen simultaneously. First, your cortisol spikes. That's your stress hormone. Your body literally goes into fight or flight. Second, your oxytocin drops. That's the bonding hormone. So even though they're your parent, your body registers them as a threat. Third, your dopamine crashes. And here's where it gets really manipulative. When you finally give in, when you say yes, when you send the money, when you cancel your plans to visit them, your brain releases a tiny hit of dopamine, relief, temporary peace. Your nervous system calms down, and your brain remembers giving in makes the bad feeling go away. That's operant conditioning. Same psychology used to train dogs, except you're not a dog, you're a human being. But the pattern is the same. Guilt trip, anxiety, give in, relief. Repeat over and over, year after year, until you don't even question it anymore. It just becomes automatic. Parent calls? Drop everything. Parent needs money? Send it. Parent disapproves of your choice? Change it. You're not living your life, you're living theirs. And here's the most heartbreaking part. You think it's love. You think they raised me, they sacrificed, I owe them. But let me ask you this. Did you ask to be born? No. Did you sign a contract that said, I will give up my dreams to pay you back for raising me? No. Having a child is a choice parents make. And with that choice comes responsibility. Feed them, clothe them, educate them, love them. That's not a loan. That's not a debt. That's the job you signed up for when you decided to have kids. Your children don't owe you their entire lives in return. But Filipino culture? It says otherwise. It says children are investments. Maganak ka para may magalaga sa'yo pagtanda mo. Translation, have kids so you'll have retirement insurance. That's not love. That's a business transaction. And when you grow up in that system, your brain is wired to believe that your worth is tied to your usefulness. If you're not sending money, if you're not visiting, if you're not obeying, then you're worthless. Walang kwenta, walang utang na loob. So you keep giving, keep sacrificing, keep shrinking yourself. Because deep down, you're terrified of being unloved. And that fear? Your parents installed it. So how do you break free from this cycle? First, you need to understand something important. Setting boundaries is not disrespect. It's self-respect. You can love your parents and still say no. You can honor them and still live your own life. Those two things are not mutually exclusive. Step 1. Recognize the pattern. When do you feel the most guilt? What triggers it? Is it when you want to move out? Is it when you want to spend money on yourself? Is it when you make a decision they don't like? Write it down. See the pattern clearly. Step 2. Separate their emotions from your responsibility. Your parents' happiness is not your job. Read that again. Your parents' happiness is not your job. If your mother is lonely, that's not your fault. If your father is disappointed, that's not your burden. They are adults. They have their own choices, their own lives. You are not responsible for fixing their feelings. Step 3. Reframe utang na loob. Yes, be grateful. But gratitude doesn't mean surrender. Thank them for raising you. Appreciate their sacrifices. But also recognize their choice to sacrifice doesn't obligate you to sacrifice your entire future. You can honor them without destroying yourself. Step 4. Communicate clearly without apologizing. Instead of saying, sorry, Po, but I can't send money this month, kasi? Try saying, I won't be able to send money this month. I have other financial priorities right now. No apology, no long explanation, just a clear boundary. They might react badly. That's okay. Their reaction is not your responsibility. Step 5. Build a support system outside your family. Kasi if your whole identity is tied to being a good child, breaking free will feel like losing yourself. Find friends who understand. Join communities. Talk to a therapist if you can. You need people who will remind you that you're not selfish for wanting your own life. And finally, step 6. Give yourself permission to grieve. Because breaking this cycle means accepting a painful truth. Your parents might never understand. They might never say, I'm proud of you for setting boundaries. They might always see you as ungrateful. And that hurts. It's okay to grieve that. To mourn the relationship you wished you had. But don't let that grief keep you trapped. You deserve to live freely, guilt-free, on your own terms. So here's the truth. Manga ka think bright. Being a good child doesn't mean being an obedient puppet. It means being a healthy, whole adult who can love their parents without losing themselves. Utang na Loob is beautiful when it's genuine. But when it's used as a weapon, it's abuse. And you don't have to accept it just because it's wrapped in culture. Real love doesn't guilt trip. Real love doesn't manipulate. Real love says, I want you to be happy, even if it's not what I expected. So ask yourself tonight, am I living for me, or am I living to avoid guilt? The psychology is clear. Now the choice is yours. If this video hit home, click that like button. Share it with someone who needs to break free. Drop a comment. Tell me your story. Have you experienced this? How did you handle it? We're creating a safe space for real talk, walang judgment dito. Subscribe to Think Bright PH for more psychology that cuts deep. Next week, we're diving into another controversial topic. Why do Filipinos stay silent? The psychology of conflict avoidance. You won't want to miss it. Hanggang sa muli, Think Bright PH. You are not alone.